Hi everyone, it's Jen again. This week I thought I would go ahead and show some footage of my process for painting backgrounds. I realized that I had actually shown this before, so here is me working on some backgrounds for the most recent Chapter 7 for the Underground. While this is playing, I thought I would talk a little bit more about avoiding burnout and at least some tips that I would like to share that work for me that I feel like people don't really talk about too much or I hadn't really heard of before. And it was something that I sort of had to like figure out for myself. So I don't know if it'll work for you, but I thought I would just share a few tips that kind of work for me. I am sort of a structured person, so if I'm going to stick to anything long term, change my behavior in a way that will be more sustainable for me in the long run, then I really have to make a conscious effort to do things on a daily basis to make it a habit. Otherwise, it tends to fall to the wayside and I don't follow through with that behavior change long term. So let me go ahead and jump right in to my first tip is to build a habit. So I find that working on my project every day, even if that means just like opening up like a design document and looking at it and thinking about it and maybe just like making a quick couple doodles or like sketching a few lines, or even just writing down on a piece of paper like what I plan on doing next, even if I don't have time to do it that day. It just helps me kind of like get into the mindset of always kind of making a little bit of time for my project every day. And I find things that are kind of like a daily habit, they tend not to be as, I guess, draining or don't require so much energy. Sort of like brushing your teeth or driving to work. When you do it every day, it just becomes a habit and it doesn't feel like work or having to exert a lot of energy, I guess. My second tip would be to don't prescribe moral judgments based on your progress. So I think that this can like go for like trying to change your behavior when it comes to like overcoming addiction or bad habits or trying to live a healthier lifestyle, whether that be incorporating more like exercise or better like dietary choices. Like don't make your whatever happened that day like a moral judgment, either like yay I'm a good person now because I worked on my project, or boo I'm a bad person because I didn't work on my project. Like life is what it is and you tried your best, and so like to me that's good enough. Like just everybody should learn to like yourself because you are the person that you have to live with every day. And I think that a lot of good things happen when people like generally like themselves, and a lot of bad behavior, even if those people seem kind of like arrogant and they seem so, like kind of like grandiose or narcissistic, it really does stem from insecurity and a deep dislike for themselves at their root. So I'm talking like a genuine like kindness to yourself. Tip number 3, talk to somebody every day about something not related to game dev. So we're building a habit to think about game dev every day, but we're also building a habit to talk to somebody about something not game related at all. This will help you stay a little grounded, help you build community and support, and also will help broaden your world a little bit, which can enrich your project and your creative process when you just kind of like expose yourself to different perspectives. Number 4, do something decompressing that's not related to game dev but is also active. So I'm not talking about decompressing by like passively consuming content such as like watching TV, playing games, or reading even, though those do like stimulate your brain a little bit. Like I'm talking about some of like the more menial tasks that you probably like don't want to do, but actually help you kind of decompress in a productive way. And I think of it as kind of like switching gears a little bit. So instead of ordering takeout or just like eating whatever somebody's willing to put down in front of your face, stop and chop some vegetables. cook something. I usually don't take more than like a half an hour to like make any type of meal, from prep to finish. I have a lot of really like fast, relatively cheap and healthy like meals that I just like go to. So that sort of like switching gears, I actually find keeps me in a productive mindset, but also kind of like breaks up whatever I'm doing, in a way that kind of gives me a break. And I think those types of like mental breaks are like really important, when we're talking about long sustained, working on these things without experiencing burnout. You just have to break up the monotony, even when it's something like game dev where there's a lot of different types of tasks. They're still all very time consuming tasks that can all get pretty monotonous, to be honest. Okay, and then the last tip here is 5, protect your time and own your decisions. So what I mean by that is not to say like, somebody asks you for something and you just say no because you're like, I need to protect my time and make it all about myself all the time. I'm more talking about like, know your limitations. Don't overextend, what you're capable of doing. So if you have like the time and energy, like please do invest in other people, and invest in those people that are going to reciprocate and help build you support in the future. That is time very well spent. It is not a waste of time to invest in other people who are worth your investment. But I would also say like, own that. So sometimes I will do things that I wouldn't like necessarily choose to do because somebody asked me. And if I commit to that and I agree to that, then it is not done out of resentment. I'm not going to harbor any negative feelings towards that. I am going to own my decisions. So it's not going to be like, oh, I have to do this thing because so-and-so like wants this or so-and-so needs this. It's more like I am going to go into doing these things with the attitude of, this is an opportunity for me to do something for somebody that I care about, and I'm happy to give that time. Maybe it wouldn't be what I would choose to do, but again, these are all ways of like kind of breaking up your many hours that will be spent in solitude. You need these moments to ground you back into reality, help sustain your sense of community, and your perspective and view of the world will be broader and richer if you make time for these things. Just try not to think of them as things that are taking away from your creative process, but will be adding to it in ways that are not always like immediately tangible. Live a full and rich life, and your creative process will reflect that. At least that's what I strongly believe. And I am not an outgoing person. I am not somebody who puts myself out there. I'm very low energy. I'm very introverted. I'm very to myself. So just doing these little things every day, it really does help. Okay, that's all I've got for today. So hope you have a great week. And as always, don't forget to enjoy the process. Take care. Bye-bye.